All right. Welcome along, everyone, to VDRL Saudi Arabia. Before we get started today with qualifying, 16 drivers in already, so it's going to be a nice and hectic race. Everyone racing for whatever position they can find. Let's take a quick look at the standings before we begin. As far as the driver standings go, it's a healthy lead with Kevin Van Dijk leading with 206 points over Jix in the Alpine with 181, well clear of Jamie Ray in third with 165. As far as the constructors go, Ferrari have a pretty healthy lead of 335 over Alpine's 285. Don't count out Williams, though, 237 right behind Alpine. So they could be looking to snag second place away in the final couple of races. So all to play for on a track that tends to punish mistakes very harshly, and we could see an upset. We could see a lot of safety cars. Could even see no safety cars. Who knows? But out on track right now, we're just getting a couple of drivers on their outlaps. Leading the field right now is Rajic in the Aston Martin. And a very technical circuit with a lot of high-speed straights, so we could see a lot of different setups as well. A lot of people will try to go low downforce and take advantage of all of the straights, but there is a lot of time to be gained in the corners. If you can catch your rival ahead, get in their DRS, that's a huge help, huge help. Just seeing who all is in today. Both Ferraris are in, and 2 Alpines are in, but neither of them are GX. So he's probably not going to be posing much of a threat to Kevin's lead at the top of the driver's standings, but Alpine could make a sort of comeback in the constructors. Can't count them out at all. So you're watching the current driver's standings leader, Kevin Van Dijk, just getting some temperature into his tires before he bolts out of the final corner. There's plenty of them around Saudi Arabia, and all of them very, very close to the barriers. So onto full throttle now, down the pit straight, DRS open, taking us away for the first flying lap of the day. It's going to be a very hard braking point into the turn 1 and 2 chicane. And he goes in, takes the curbs nicely. Nice and tentative on the throttle on the short run to 4. Being very careful not to hit the wall on the inside, but can't go too wide because the curb is raised on the outside. Now it's pretty much flat through the S section here. There's going to be a quick lift and a downshift to 6th as he gets the power back on, doing nicely. Not to beach himself on the outside curb. Then coming to the carousel up ahead. Nice and early apex. Just feathering the throttle there. Doing very nicely there, not to lose the rear car, getting out of the way ahead. Into the very fast right-hander, into the left, being careful not to go over the curb. Again, very close to the wall. There was Kevin, but just keeping his Ferrari out of the barriers. Now into the sweeping turns of the back straight. Into one more quick left-to-right flick as he takes us in there now. Looks like he's taking some beautiful lines right now, is Kevin. I think he's going to be hard-pressed to find much of an improvement on his second run. As Ozan puts in the first lap of the day with a 128.5. What's it going to be for Kevin as he looks a little understeery on the entry to the final corner. Not looking too bad there at all. And Kevin goes to the top with a 126.4. And that is looking pretty healthy over Han even in the Williams. We've seen some good pace from him, 127.6 for him. Jamie Ray on his outlap. A couple more times coming in. And no one into the 126s like Kevin is. Like I said, a beautiful banker lap. He's going to be hard-pressed to find much of an improvement over that. But I'm sure the likes of Freet and Damian and Han are going to be looking for their improvements. As Fubian is crossing the line with a 128.7 for him. And who can we pick up next? Tommy Otter just down the final straight into the last corner. Just to take a nice late apex charge onto the back straight, minimizing the amount of track that he goes across here. And only P9 for Tommy Otter. I'm sure he'll be able to find an improvement on that, as Jamie Ray has just started his lap. A little clumsy over the turn 2 curb though, so we'll see if that hinders him too much. As we head into the quick left-hander, a little early turn in, almost hit the wall there, and looking to drift wide on the right-hander as well. It's a bit of a scruffy start to the lap for Jamie Ray. As we head through the final of the S's, looks pretty nice through there at least, as we're heading up into the carousel. And on the throttle early, you want to drift wide, as Jamie Ray just did, to maximize the exit speed. As we go into the right left onto the back straight, looking pretty good from him, and just coax the car around these very, very wide and fast corners. Now hard on the brakes, throws it down into 6th. Went over the curb on the right there, but I don't think that unsettled the car too much. Heading up into the final corner, one more braking zone to make or break the lap. What is it going to be for Jamie Ray? Into 4th, and plenty of oversteer on the braking, just too much brake bias towards the rear. That's going to hamper his run down the pit straight as well. It's a bit of a scruffy lap, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's still a good one. Good enough for P2 right now, 126.5 for him, but still needs to find some time to Kevin's banker lap. As we're seeing Han out there trying to improve, heading down the back straight and into the left-hander just now. A bit difficult to overtake down the back straight into some of the corners. Really need to rely on getting the DRS open, slipstreaming your opponent, and getting ahead of them before they even make it to the corner. Pretty difficult to go side by side through Saudi Arabia. It's a little understeery now is Han, the polar opposite of what we saw from his teammate. And he's charging to the line and finds an improvement to 127.1 for him. 0.5 of improvement, half a second, very good improvement for Han. He's got plenty of time to make another run or two if he wants to. Sword just puts it up into 3rd in the McLaren as well. Nobody able to challenge Kevin's time so far, as he's heading out on an outlap as well. We're watching Gwen Don. Who I believe has switched the battery off by the looks of it. I think he's going to be on an in-lap. Yeah, could we cut to Tommy Otter in 14th? Looks like he's on a flyer. Perfect, thank you. Just heading onto the back straight now in the Red Bull. Clips the wall on the outside. Doesn't actually lose a whole lot of time clipping that wall. So I think he's going to be getting away with that one as long as he doesn't have any wing damage. But there's a lot of understeer going into the left-right, and that's pretty much a lap killer right there. See if he keeps going on this one. Plenty of understeer there too. I wonder if he did actually pick up some wing damage when he clipped the wall. Looks like he's going straight into the pit lane. No, he's going to finish off the lap. What is it going to be for Tommy? At least a slight improvement up into P13 with a 129.1. But I think he's only got one more set of tires to use. Kevin's on a flyer too in P1. We can see from him just starting out his lap into the fast left-hander. Very confident over the curbs, keeping it flat through the S's. Just that singular lift through the right-hander. Ooh, drifts. Thought he was going to drift a lot wider than that, but able to save it was Kevin. Nice heads-up driving from him and already improving by a 10th. As we're heading out of the carousel. Nice early throttle application. Looking to be another great lap from Kevin. Nice and close to the wall, just as close as you would want to get. Onto the quick left-hander. Maybe a little understeer going into the corner, but really looking good for Kevin so far. Didn't pick up what the delta was through Sector 2, but I'm sure it's pretty good for Kevin so far. As he has one more corner to go, the final one, and he's looked pretty confident through here, much more than others. Absolutely nails it. Brings it over to the left. And what's the time going to be for Kevin? It's a 1:26.3 improvement of a tenth and a half. And I think that might just be the time to beat. Unless you can find even more of an improvement somewhere. On board with Freet now. Heading into the final corner, currently P5 and looking to improve. Once again, plenty of oversteer heading into the corner. Not really used to seeing that from many people, so obviously aggressive on the braking is Freet. And improves by over 0.2 of a second, but still keeps it P5. As right behind him is Damian. And crosses the line, goes P3 with a 1:26.7, so looking great once again for Ferrari. Jamie Ray is on an outlap and going to be challenging for Kevin's time, but he's got 0.2 that he needs to make up, over 0.2 for Jamie Ray to find out there. As Jamie is just starting his lap now. See what we can find from the Williams driver. There we go. I've yet to see anyone take the curve into turn 1 that aggressively. That's exactly what you want to do as a driver. Jamie took that beautifully. A lot of time to find there. Maybe just an early turn into the left-hander. Had to correct that one. Looking pretty good through the S's. And up into the carousel. Already improving by 1.6 Pretty sure they say 16 hundredths. Out of the carousel we go, taking that nicely into the right-hander now. Nice and close to the wall like we saw Kevin do. So he's obviously challenging for that pole position. Through the left. Oh, he invalidates. Just carries a little bit too much speed through the left-hander on the back straight. Easy to do. Didn't want to spin the car, so invalidates his lap. He will just barely have enough time to go again. As his teammate Han exits the final corner. 0.5 improvement. Or, no, he's just starting his lap. I don't know why the Delta's saying he was improving. But he's looking to improve now for sure. Keeping it in P5 through that left-hander, it's a little high in my opinion, but he might just find it easier to quell any oversteer. Into the carousel. Very wide on entry, never really hit the apex there. I don't think it's going to be a great lap from Han this time around, unless you can find something marvelous through sectors 2 and 3. But he's still pushing along. Looking good through the left-handers. There's a bit of a lull out on track as drivers are gearing up for their final runs. I'm sure we're going to see a flurry of action at the end of qualifying. As Han crosses the line, it is a pretty good improvement, a lot more than I was expecting. 4.5 puts him P3 just behind his teammate. It's a Ferrari 1 and 4 with 2 and 3 Williams. And if you notice, the McLaren of Lickschamp down there in P16 has DNF'd. A statement from him: just went too much on the curb. lost control and spun. Very easy to do in Saudi Arabia, especially as the drivers are pushing at their absolute limit in qualifying. And I'm sure we'll see some more of that in the race as Ozan completely misses the turn 1 apex there. Into the left-hander, another one trying it in 5th gear. And a big lift on the right-hander on the S's. It's usually not what you want to do. Just keep up the minimum speed through there. As Ozan is still improving though, 2.5 tenths through sector 1 into the carousel we go. And that looks like a pretty nice carousel. And a pretty good line through the right-hander as well, heading onto the back straight. Still some time to find out there for Ozan. Nice and close to the wall on the inside through the left-hander. Well committed from the AlphaTauri driver. Currently P11, looking to improve on his 127.9. Qualifying time so far looking pretty close together, especially around the midfield, so just a couple of tenths, maybe 3 for Ozan. Could see him jump up quite a few places today. As he crosses the line just now up into 10th position with a 127.6. Good improvement of 2.5 tenths. As we see it, plenty of drivers on their out lap now. See, who are we going to pick up? Of course, we're going to pick up Kevin. Been absolutely stellar throughout qualifying so far. And looking to improve on his already very good P1 time of 126.3. That's going to be the time to beat so far. And Jamie Ray P2 with a 126.5. So quite a decent margin between the two drivers there. Kevin looking to put a cherry on top, so to speak, on qualifying. Rounds the corner to start his lap. Is he going to play it safe, or is he going to go absolutely flat out through some of these corners? Into turns 1 and 2. Opts not to take the curve through 1, but takes it nicely over 2. Early on the power out of the chicane. Not much wheel spin from him. Into the left-hander down to 4th. Very confident over the raised curb on the right. Absolutely flat through the beginning of the S's. Not a hint of a lift through there. Gets it turned in nicely for the exit of the S's. Another beautiful sector 1 from Kevin Van Dyke, but a little bit down on his previous best. I think that's pretty much matching his previous time through sector 1. Coming out of the carousel, and have to be absolutely fully committed for the turns in the back straight. Looked maybe a little understeer. Put him offline as the checkered flag falls in qualifying here today. Plenty of drivers finishing up their laps though, so a lot of times are going to be put on the table now. Kevin still matching his previous best as he heads through the left-hander on the back straight. Don't know if there's going to be much time for him to find, as his previous best was already a wonderful lap to watch. Into the final corner. Looks to have a little bit of an oversteer on the entry. Is that going to find him any time? Yes, it does, just a little bit. Jamie is improving, but he needs to be a 126.2. He's got to improve by 3.5 tenths, it looks like. And the rear just complaining as he heads through the final corner. That's not going to gain him much time. And heads into the pit lane. He's abandoned this lap. So it's going to be second at best for Jamie. Han has crossed the line and taken the checkered flag. Damian's invalidated his lap. Fritz just had a massive moment there coming out of the final corner. He's going to the pit lane as well. That leaves us with Toro on the charge down to the final corner. Just wide of the apex there. Is he going to find an improvement in his final lap? Currently P11 and P8 for Toro with a 127.3. And I think that will pretty much do it for qualifying. But it was a wonderful series of laps from Kevin. to take pole with a 126.2 over Jamie Ray, a 126.5, 3/10 between them. Is that going to stay the same during the race, or is Jamie feeling pretty confident in his race pace? Remains to be seen. Han right behind his teammate with a P3, and we will get the rest of the qualifying finishing order in just a moment's time. So after that qualifying session, it's Kevin Van Dyke taking pole over Jamie Ray and Han in third. Then the other Ferrari of Damian in fourth. C-Sword fifth for McLaren. And then try again later in the Alpine in sixth. Freet in seventh. Toro in eighth. Guangdan ninth. And rounding out the top 10 is Rajic. Then 11th is Ozan. Fubian in 12th. 13th for Luca Scholl. 14th for Finishing Heart. Tommy in 15th. I think we've seen better pace from him so far. We'll have to watch him in the race. Squirter in 16th. And then Lux Chap in 17th. Losing control of his car over the curbs. Certainly not going to be the only one to do that today. I'm sure we're going to have plenty of action in the race to come. A lot of drivers on Saudi Arabia means that there is a high chance for some safety cars. I'm expecting a good couple. So we'll just have to see if the strategies hold out for the front runners, or if someone's going to try something a little bold in the rear of the field and just come out on top with the safety cars. Jamie saying he was 4/10 up in the first sector before having to abandon his lap. It's a pretty hard pill to swallow, but that does mean that he's showing some good pace today. As we give the drivers a little bit of time to set their strategies and race setups as they need to. For it is going to be a very exciting Saudi Arabian Grand Prix indeed in VDRL. All right, here we go then. Most of our drivers starting out on the medium tires. Notably, try again later in 6th place, starting on the soft, so looking to charge through the field early and hoping for an early safety car. Guangdan and Ozan starting on the hard tires, as well as Finishing Heart and Lux Champ going to be trying something from the rear of the field on the softs. Everyone else on the mediums. So we'll see similar strategies up at the front. And Kevin leading us away on a very fast formation lap. Jamie's not too keen to keep up with him at this stage, just warm up his tires at his own pace. Well, I think someone needs to tell the front runners to slow down a little bit, because they really don't want their tires getting cooled off as they're sitting on the grid waiting for everyone else to form up. Don't know if this is part of Kevin's strategy or not, or if this is just how he likes to take his formation laps. But in any case, I hope for his sake he's warming up his tires enough. As now he starts to slow down a little bit. There we go, bunching up the field behind him. So as they're forming up, once again, it's going to be the 2 Ferraris versus the 2 Williams. And everyone else going to be scrambling for the points they can find. C-Sword in a good position. We've seen some good pace from him. And we get the good old rear camera angle on the grid, which is always what we like to see. Unfortunately, not much we can do about it. But in any case, it's 4-5 lights on, and we're racing in Saudi Arabia. At some point, there we go, we're racing in Saudi Arabia, and it seems to be a pretty good start from everyone involved. Han with a good start, already getting past his teammate. Side by side they go into turn 1, but Jamie just edging his teammate out on that occasion. 3 wide behind us. We saw Freet going a little wide in the Red Bull. Going to be challenging Gwen down into the fast left-hander, but unable to do so at this stage. Everyone seemed to keep it pretty clean through. Oh, there's a collision between Lixchamp and Porter in the background there. Sees Lixchamp facing the wrong direction as we head into the S's, but track stays green on this occasion. Kevin still leading from Jamie and Han, with Damian in hot pursuit, as they were. Big try again later, has gotten himself up 1 position on the soft tires. Going to be looking for another one pretty soon. Glenn going to be going long on the hard tires. Damian right up behind Han. Is he going to be looking to stick his nose down the inside of the left-hander here? No, he backs out of that one. Everyone keeping it nose to tail up ahead. Damian's got a good run on Han now. It's going to be forced to the outside. Maybe just backs out of this one. Doesn't want to be too aggressive into the final corner, but he's got some pretty good pace. And Jamie has some look down the inside of the final corner, makes some contact with Kevin. Further back, Damian shoots it down the inside into the final corner, gets up past Han. A little bit of a scruffy overtake attempt there from Jamie, but he's got another run going down the pit straight. Kevin doesn't really defend this one, has the inside into the chicane. Is he going to be letting his teammate through as well? Damian's got the outside for turn 2, and I think Kevin's got to back out of this one, so he's dropped down 2 places already from the start of the race in just 1 lap. Han in hot pursuit as well. Damian and Jamie Ray looking to have some wonderful straight line speed. I'm surprised Kevin didn't quite defend his P1 spot as hard as he could have down into turn 1. So we do see Jamie up into P1 with Damian right behind him. And a bit of a gap forming already between Damian and Kevin, although I think that might just be the dirty air as it stands, as there's a little bit of a moment for Damian heading through the right-hander. So doesn't lose too much time there. I think this is probably the first time I've seen a league race with over 15 drivers in Saudi Arabia not go full safety car in the first 2 laps. So kudos to our drivers so far. Is Damian looking to have a run on Jamie down into the final corner? He's getting a little bit closer, but certainly not far enough to dive it down the inside. Everyone's playing the game of wait and see. Sisord has a move on Han, and Gwen follows him through. Gwen's going to try and overtake 2 drivers, really putting those hard tires to work. He's going to have the outside into the chicane. Is Sisord going to edge him out of the track? Looks like he tried to, but Gwen just backed out of that one. Han trying to retake his position, unable to do so, finds himself all the way down in P6. Fubian now trying it down the inside of Toro. It's very difficult to go side by side through that corner, and you've just seen why. That's gonna promote Ozan up ahead, but Fubian trying to rejoin the track into the path of the AlphaTauri, sees him spin out and facing the wrong direction, but everyone keeping it out of the barriers so far, as we're seeing Toro rejoin just ahead of his teammate Rajic, and we have a VSC for all of the commotion that we just saw into the S's. That is Toro without a front wing, however, so he'll have to take an early pit stop for that. Everyone's still in the running as we are under VSC. And taking a look at the standings, Glenn has made up more places than I would have expected starting on the hards, and try again later I think has net lost positions at this stage. Yeah, down 2 positions. The VSC is in already. Fubian got himself a drive-through for speeding. And Toro doing well to just keep out of everyone's way. Doesn't need to be racing anyone hard with, well, without a front wing. So back to green we go, and once again we're seeing the top 4 just drop away from the rest of the field. But this time it's Sisord instead of the Williams of Han, as there's an early pit stop for Toro. Han trying to chase down Gwen on the hard tires. Kevin Van Dyke is retired from the session. Well, what in the world has happened there? I'm going to see. Yeah, he's gone wide on that left-hander that everyone's going through now. Kevin Van Dyke out of the race, and there's not a safety car called for that one, so that'll take a lot of pressure off of Jamie Ray for sure. Now Damian has to pick up the pieces for Ferrari, so it's kicked off already. I'd like to hear what Kevin has to say about that. I'm sure we'll hear from him in just a moment, as Han is still chasing down Gwen for now P4. Gwen doing very well to make those hard tires work. It can't be understated. It's difficult to do in Saudi Arabia, but Han's going to have a look down the inside. Gwen doesn't really defend this one, but he hangs it around the outside. And, well, he keeps his position, but he's going to be giving up the slipstream to Han right behind him. He's going to be having a run into the final corner. These two keeping it side by side. Oh no, Han's dropping away, and that's Freet getting past the both of them. Now Hans finally got past Gwen. No, has a better exit out of the final corner, does Gwen. And they're still going to keep it side by side. Slipstream being given to Han, as now the Red Bull up ahead of Freet covers off the outside, side by side through the chicane. Space given between both of our drivers here. Are they going to keep it side by side to the left-hander? Nope, it is Han just getting ahead of Gwen. About the 15th time of asking. It's been a wonderful fight between those two. Very respectful as well. Now Han has to chase down Freet for P4. Sisord still hanging on to the coattails of Damian though. And he's got, well, just about a 5-second lead over Freet in P4 on the same tires as well. So that's looking pretty good for him so far. Damian is trying to chase down Jamie Ray for that P1 spot. And he's pretty much just going to have to wait for the Williams driver to make a mistake, as he's not making any inroads so far. We'll see if he's saving up for an attack. DRS has been enabled as well, so he's pretty content just to stay in the slipstream, stay in the DRS, wait for an opportune moment to strike. As further back, Han has now caught up to the back of Freet, as Damian now very close to the rear of the leader, Jamie Ray. Is he going to have a dive down the inside into the chicane? Doesn't even need to wait for the braking zone. That is Damian going up into first position. Jamie thought about maybe hanging it around the outside. But does he think about a better exit? As further back, Han has gotten past Freet up into P4. Now Gwen is up into the fight as well. Maybe trying to pick up the pieces of this fight between Han and Freet, but see if he's able to do that as we head through the left-hander. Everyone keeping it nice and respectful. As there is a mistake from Freet, sees him go off at the S's. Just rejoins the track. Gwen not quite able to take advantage of that mistake. As we head into the carousel, hard tires looking very grippy. I don't know if Freet maybe has some damage somewhere, as he's not looking very confident into some of these corners. Just looking at the off-board. Still got his end plate, so if there's any damage for Freet, it's not much right now. As Jamie Ray is now riding the coattails of Damian. DRS enabled, and plenty of battery in Jamie's Williams. He hasn't been pushing at all on the battery, it looks like, so just making Damian use his in defense. I think that's going to be Jamie's strategy here, and then whenever Damian can't hold on any longer, Jamie's going to pull away and hopefully out of the DRS range. Fubian is retired from the session. See that he's been side by side with one of the Alfa Romeos. I think that's in the same spot that Kevin retired further. Ooh, there's a bit of a contact there, as Jamie takes that position back up into P1 as a virtual safety car is called. And full safety car now that it's been upgraded to. So this will get rid of any gaps in the field. Lap 7, I think, is a little early for some of our medium runners to go into a set of hard tires, unless they're expecting another late safety car they can switch back at some point. But into the pit lane is Rajic for the hard tires. I think we're going to be seeing plenty of pit stops anyway. Is that mediums to mediums for Luca? So knowing that anyone pitting right now is probably going to be going for a 2-stop anyway, medium is actually a pretty good strategy if you're going to be pitting anyway at the end of the race. Coming out of the pit lane as well on fresh mediums. See what the strategy call is going to be for our front runners. Damian staying as close as possible to the rear of Jamie Ray, does not want to lose any time at all. That's what we like to see. Now, is it going to be a split strategy, or are both of them going to go into the pit lane? Let's see what happens here. Damian just respecting the delta. Jamie's in and Damian in as well. I think pretty much everyone is going to be in behind them as well. Yep, see Sword in. What about Han? Han staying out. There we go. Taking a bit of a gamble. Of course, with pretty much everyone else pitting, Han is going to be the only one on somewhat older tires, as Jamie out of his pit box right ahead of Damian, and that's the story of the race right there. Jamie with Damian breathing down his neck with Sword right on the rear of both of these. I think Damian just about pushing Jamie out of the pit lane, so this is going to be an intense fight between these two. Sword's going to make it that much more intense as well. Because I'm wondering if Han might just try to give up the position to his teammate early and then do a little Sergio Perez and slow down Damian as much as possible to try to build the gap. Just depends on when Damian catches Han. Let's see. Try again later as well. Did not go into the pit lane, it looks like. Although, oh, he had an early stop because he's only got 4 laps on his hard tires. As everyone else has been into the pit lane, bar Han. Could also be Han just recognizing that if Williams double stacked, he would find himself quite a ways further back as well. So, opting for track position on his strategy call. As everyone gets bunched up behind the safety car, wouldn't be too surprised if we see another full course yellow of some sort that Han could take advantage of. Not too unheard of. And while we have a bit of downtime, if you're liking what you're seeing so far, be sure to drop us a like on the YouTube. It helps us out immensely. And if you want to stay in touch with all of the races, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, of course. All of the organization and whatnot happens on the Discord. So if you're keen to join the league, go ahead and hop in. Even if you just want to see some of the trash talk going on, that's always fun to scroll through some of the chat messages as well. We do have a sale going on, 25% sale on the merch store. That is for every order on the merch store. That will be linked in the YouTube and the Discord as well. Free shipping to the Netherlands. So for plenty of our Dutch F1 fans out there, they can take advantage of the sale and the free shipping. I myself will probably take a bit of a premium for the transatlantic shipping. So, as that tends to be. So just waiting on a couple more drivers to catch up to the rear of the safety car. Another pit stop for Toro. Just getting rid of his hard tires. Toro into new mediums, and crucially has fulfilled the 2 different tire compound rule. Oh, and if you're curious as to what the numbers mean next to everyone's name, that is what season they joined VDRL. So, for example, I think that is that how many seasons they've been here, or what season they joined? Personally, I don't remember. See if we can get some confirmation. I think that's what season they joined. If I remember, I've got a 3 next to my name. Yep, what season they joined. There we go. So, drivers like Freet and Gwen joining in season 1, Sisword and Jamie, newer additions just joining this season. A couple drivers have been here for a little while as well, so always good to see new faces on the track. I think the safety car is going to be around for one more lap. You know, it could be interesting to see as I'm seeing the lap counter, 10 of 25 right now. If Han actually stays out on those mediums for a little while longer, could he even go onto softs at the end of the race if there isn't another safety car? I think he could take advantage of that for sure. Although he's probably going to get swallowed up in not much time with the fresh tires of everyone else behind him. So it's going to be a bit of a fight for survival for him, but we've seen some good racing and racecraft from him, so not counting him out at all. As Toro is pretty much going at full race pace to catch up to the back of the safety car queue after taking that late pit stop. That means that the safety car is going to be in this lap and we can get back to green. So far, started out with 17. We lost Kevin early on, just losing it on his own, I believe, through turn 5, I believe it is. And then we just lost Fubian now. I think in the same corner. Very difficult one to go side by side, even if you make a little mistake. Clip the inside wall, clip the curb on the outside. I've done it myself plenty of times. As the safety car is confirmed coming in. Hot back up to the leaders. It's a Williams 1-2 right now. With Damian in hot pursuit. Sisword making it 4-way fight. Wouldn't count out Free as well. Gwen on the medium tires might be able to make those work better than the hards ahead of him. But he's not going to make them last very long. As we are getting back to green right now, Han leads us away down the pit straight. Seems to be a pretty good restart. Nice and coordinated with Jamie. I think he's going to be giving up this position right now. And if Han wants to play the slowdown game, he's got to do it in Sector 1 because that's the most difficult place for anyone to overtake. And Damian's just hit him into turn 1. Well, he's not going to be able to play the slowdown game very much there, as there's another car off. That is Ozan in the AlphaTauri. So, those two just about coming together, but the ghosting taking care of that. So, bit of a chaotic restart as Squirter and Toro were trying to go side by side, and not quite able to do that. Toro just rejoining the track. But, yeah, not what you want to see, a spin for one of the front runners. Han finding himself in P14 right now, and on the worst tires on the grid pretty much, as Damian getting back past Sisword, who had just taken his position for a moment. Staying on the tail of these two. In that collision, bit of a gap formed between Jamie and Damian. Toro has retired from the session, and it is a VSC once again. Where can we find Toro? That is a strange place to find a stricken car. I would really like to see what happened to him. That is pretty much on a barely even a corner at all worth mentioning, so interesting. Maybe just trying to go side by side with another driver, didn't know he was there, put him in the wall. Not much of a margin for error around Saudi Arabia, and up to a full safety car once again. As they say in racing, safety cars breed safety cars. And we'll see if anyone else wants to go into the pit lane. Try again later. Has some pretty old tires. I'm sure Han will be in this time around as well. So try again later. Yep, into the pit lane off of the hard tires. I think some fresh mediums would be able to just about last to the end. Maybe. Although there's not going to be much wear on the tires of anyone that went in on the previous safety cars. So actually, plenty of people into the pit lane. Try again later. Luke is in. Squirter staying out. Han definitely in. Might even have some front wing damage. We'll see the pit stop for the Williams. As, yep, they have a front wing prepared. And he's getting a change. So, onto the soft tires. Here we go. So another bold strategy choice from Han. Just over halfway distance left to go in the race, so he's gonna have to do a little bit of preservation on the softs. Of course, he's not gonna put much wear on them in the safety car, but I have a feeling they're gonna be dropping off in not too much time at all. As I was saying before, if you would like to keep in touch and stay up to date on all of the news in VDRL, we have a Twitter X account as well that you can follow, as well as if you would like to see some highlights and clips from drivers that maybe weren't seen on stream. Those are always getting posted to the TikTok as well. There's some great content there as well, so be sure to check that out for some of the highlights. Some of these drivers really don't like giving space. Difficult to do in Jeddah, but unfortunately, it kind of brings out the worst in some of the drivers. Where's Tommy sitting right now? Ooh, P14. Not looking good for him. He had early incidents, I do believe. He's got the hard tires on right now, looking to extend to the end, so I think he's got a pretty good strategy going on right now. If he can just keep himself out of trouble, I'm sure he can rescue some points out of this one. If you don't mind, can we take a look at the position change graphic right now? I'm curious to see if anyone's been able to take advantage of some of the chaos ensuing. We have some people up at the front just getting past Kevin and whatnot. 7th place is gained for finishing Hart though, so he's been able to jump up the field a little bit with some of the chaos. Han and try again later, of course, not faring quite as well. Squirter didn't have a great qualifying, but he's up into 9th place now. Although up at the front, it's kind of as they started. One up 5 places, though, up into P4, so he's actually challenging for a really good spot compared to his qualifying as well. So some drivers certainly taking advantage of the chaos, and others, well, being in the middle of it, certainly not taking advantage. Oh. Everyone formed up behind the safety car. I think it'll be in this lap and we can get back to racing once again. There we go. So Jamie now up at the front of the field, takes control of the pace, and seems to be slowing everyone down quite a bit. They're all sort of fanning out, giving each other space. Well, let's see if he goes early. Usually if a driver lets the safety car go in, he goes a little bit earlier, trying to catch some of his rivals off guard. Well, it looks like he's just going to aim for a good exit out of the final corner. Damian raring to go. As out of the final corner we go. And Jamie gets a pretty good exit there. Damian a little caught off guard there. And Sisward right behind him. Not quite close enough to make a move down the inside. Shows his nose though, makes Damian think about it. Damian kind of half-heartedly gives him space in case Sisward completely missed his braking. And Lickschamp out of the session. Retired into the pit lane. There we go. Okay. Not another crash, although Tommy's found himself quite a ways away from the rest of the field as well, so some early incidents into the final corner as the safety car is in. Sisward right behind Damian, who we're watching now, might have a run into the carousel. Thinks better of it, but Sisward much better line. I think Damian just had to break away from Jamie as a bit of contact sends Sisward into the wall, just the lightest of touches between the two of them. Don't really think anyone's at fault for that one, but Sisward's going to have major damage. Yep, can't even make that corner there, so he's going to have to get out of everyone's way, and so it's going to be a long way back to the pit lane. He's got to change his front wing. Freet's going to go through. Gwendon now running into podium positions now. So like I said at the beginning, everyone having to dive out of the way is Sisward. Bit of a moving chicane right now, but not much he can do about it. Trying to get past back to the pit lane quick as he can. Finishing Hart having to go around the outside of the final corner. And Sisward in the pit lane. Really unfortunate incident between himself and Damian. Like I said, I don't really think anyone was at fault for that one. Side by side we go. Damian's trying to make it up into P1. Gwen's trying to make it a three-way battle. He wants as much as he can get as well. One of the drivers taking advantage of the general Saudi chaos. And he does have the medium tires, worth mentioning. So he's going to have a slight grip advantage over Jamie and Damian. So let's see what he can do with that. Although he beaches his AlphaTauri on the curb. Very easy to do on that particular turn. And he's now dropped himself down to 5th position. Try again later. He's going to try it around the outside. Oh, and he goes in a little bit early. Slight contact with Freet. And he's going to have a better exit out of the carousel. It looks like Freet's going to have to try and hang it around the outside of this next corner, but it's a little difficult to do. Although try again later backs out of that one, interestingly enough. Freet's now up into P3. Although try again later with some fresher medium tires. Might have some very good pace to come. And once again, Ferrari versus Williams up at the front of the field. Jamie versus Damian. Heading now into the final corner. Damian with a slipstream just pulling up a little bit behind Jamie, but not gaining enough to dive it down the inside. Is he looking for a good exit? No, I think he's just a little bit wide there. He's going to compromise his exit even. He's going to have the slipstream. He's on the battery. DRS enabled, but not quite yet for the drivers. Damian makes Jamie think about a move around the outside. Side by side, try again later, and Freet once again heading through the chicane. A little bit of argy-bargy between the two of them as they're heading into the left-hander. Someone's got to give way here. There we go, Freet making sure that both of them can still finish the race, or at least take a couple laps with them. Now into the S as we go. Clear air for try again later as he finds himself... Oh, Tommy has gone absolutely wide through the right-hander and finds himself out of the race. Is this going to bring out another full course yellow? I wonder. Hasn't been called yet, so I don't think so. Nope. Able to get the car cleared early on. Damian still chasing down Jamie. I think, as we've seen before, Jamie's probably just managing his ERS, making Damian do all the work. Further back, Gwendon still P5, fighting it out with Freet, who has pushed very hard on his battery. You see the harvesting light up ahead. Damian's looking for a run around the outside into the final corner. Jamie cuts him off. Beautiful defensive move from Jamie there. Don't really think that was moving under braking. But Damian that much closer now. He's going to have the DRS. And I think he's going to have this position heading into the 1-2 chicane. That is Damian retaking the lead of the race. And Jamie slots in behind him. Has plenty of battery at his disposal. So going to make Damian do all the hard work, like I said. Gwen getting past Freet and side by side between Squirter and Han. Oh, Han just taking the curb there and making Squirter take a 3-second time penalty and an illegal overtake probably, but I think Han taking the curb a little bit too hard on the inside pushed his Williams into the Alfa Romeo. And now try again later on the back of J-Ray. That's not really what Jamie wants to see right now. He wants to keep the fight with Damian, but try again later has the better tires. And he has a much better exit out of the carousel, but he just backs out of this one before we're going to the right-hander. Very difficult to keep it side-by-side through here, but you just see the grip advantage between the mediums and the hards as try again later able to break that much later. He's going to have the DRS, but Jamie does as well in defense. So the Alpine just going to be having to get closer to Jamie as they head through the corners, use the grip to his advantage in order to get close enough to make a run on Jamie. It looks like he's going to be trying for it. Jamie getting past Damian, and try again later is going to be trying it down the inside, following him through. Damian's down 2 positions in 1 corner. Now, is there anything he can do to fight back? Looks like Jamie and try again later had some better exits, some better traction. And is the Alpine even going to try it down the inside into the chicane? No, he's just a little bit too far back on this occasion. So it's a 3-way fight for the podium positions as they've dropped well away from Ozan oh, they've got quite a few drivers behind them. That wasn't the AlphaTauri I was expecting to see. No, Gwen's right on the tail of Damian, as is Freet, but a 6-second gap to Ozan, and just able to see the grip advantage once again between the mediums and the hards. It's not like the hards are really falling off quite yet, but the mediums are just that much better as of right now. And now able to use the grip to his advantage, keep the inside line through the exit of the carousel, but once again backing out of it before we get to the right-hander, and I thought that was going to be an Alpine into the diffuser of the Williams, but very nice on the brakes for try again later, and he's going to have the DRS and a run on Jamie, but Jamie looks like he's probably defending this one with his battery, I would assume. As they head into the left-handers, there's not much ground gained by try again later. Maybe just doesn't want to be losing too much time with any unnecessary fighting. Maybe wants to charge up his battery just that little bit. Maybe wants to wait until the DRS straight down the pit straight, but he's proving me wrong there as up into P1 now. Try again later. Gets past Jamie, but I think Jamie's going to be fighting this one back down the pit straight. Yep, there we go. Wasn't at all concerned about try again getting past at the final DRS zone. He knew he would be getting OP1 back and just a little bit too much wheel spin out of the chicane. Damian not able to take advantage of this one. That's just going to be that much time lost between Jamie and try again. What happened to Kevin in chat? Just lost his car into turn 5 that we just passed. I think it was all on his own. So really unfortunate for our championship leader. We are having a beautiful fight for the podium positions between Damian, try again, and Jamie. As we see from Damian's point of view, try again once again, just keeping that inside line through the carousel. He's using those mediums to his advantage, doing well to keep on the tail of Jamie, making up for that mistake that we saw earlier on in the lap. And what's it going to be this time around? Did he learn from last time? Is he going to try and back off before the final corner and get the DRS down the pit straight, or is he going to go for the overtake as soon as he can? Looks like he's going to back off of this one. Ooh, maybe just force Jamie a little bit wide and then play a little bit of DRS gamesmanship. There we go. That is a beautiful move from try again, and I think, yeah, no DRS for Jamie, so he's going to have DRS and the inside. 5 laps left to go, lap 20 of 25. Jamie somehow able to keep it around the outside of turn 1, though has to back out through turn 2, but man, there must be a lot of top speed on that Williams. No drag at all, just like in real life, I guess, but yeah, I'm sure Try Again was pushing the battery as well as the DRS and pretty much not even gaining an inch on Jamie. But now Try Again later has the softer compound, has the fresher tires, as the hards might start to just feel a little bit old there. And into P1 might be able to make a bit of a gap to Jamie and comfortably take P1, 9/10 the gap already. Crucially not a second as they head into the DRS detection point. Now it is just going to be over a second. Jamie's not going to have the DRS. Damian might be able to... What happened to Damian? He's way offline there in the background. And that is Gwendon going up into 3rd position. Might not even see a Ferrari on the podium at this rate, as I'm sure the medium tires of Gwen are going to start to drop away a little bit sometime soon. But over a second, the gap between Gwen and Jamie, who has caught up to Try Again. Look at the gap. It's going down ever more. And Jamie just a little bit too far back to make a move down the final corner. But just as I was saying that Try Again might be able to make a gap to Jamie, Jamie pulls that gap down from 1 second all the way down to getting back past Try Again in the span of less than a single lap. That is Jamie back up into 1st position. He's playing this one beautifully. Gwen just a little bit wide through turn 1. Is Damian going to be able to take advantage? This one certainly don't want to be poking your nose down the inside there, Damian. And he backs out of that one, but he's a little bit offline. He's going to lose a bit more time there as well. And Freet has crashed in the S's. Can we take a look on board? I think that's... No, is that the same corner as everyone? Yeah, that's the same corner that Kevin lost in, I'm pretty sure. And everyone going through now. And the Red Bull has been recovered, so both Red Bulls out, and somehow that's not a VSC or a full safety car. Try Again is trying again on the back of Jamie Ray, as they're heading into the back straight once again. 13-lap old hards, looking pretty grippy on the Williams of Jamie right now. Surprisingly so. Gwendon right behind them as well, trying to hold on to his P3. A little bit wide through the left-hander is Try Again, although maybe by design doesn't want to be getting past Jamie down this DRS straight. He wants to do it on the pit straight. But look at that, really just not gaining a whole lot of time. Very surprising to see. Somehow Jamie's able to have a lot of grip in the corners and have plenty of straight line speed to spare, so he's got a wonderful setup, does Jamie. And here we go, Try Again with the DRS getting past on the pit straight, and he's just squeezed he's squeezed Jamie to the wall way too much. Finds himself spun and facing the wrong direction. Certainly not Jamie's fault by any means, but he does retake the lead, and that was a very good position from Try Again, being sort of thrown away there, a little too aggressive on pushing his rival to the wall. That does promote Gwendon up into 2nd place. Can he even chase down Jamie for the win? That'd be interesting to see for sure. Down into the carousel they go. Gwen just a little bit wide there, but has a pretty good exit. Jamie's going to be trying to control the pace now. His main rival has found himself spinning at turn 1. What is the challenge that Gwendon can pose now? Of course, he's going to be trying to defend from Damian behind him as well. And yeah, thank you. Look at the battery. Jamie, of course, he always has plenty. He knows how to manage his battery. Gwen has used it quite a bit more, but there's only 3 laps left to go as we head into the final DRS straight of the lap. That is a wonderful run for the AlphaTauri. Going to be trying it down the inside into the final corner. Leaves room to the outside, crucially enough. And that is Gwen up into 1st position, but we've seen Jamie in this position before. Doesn't give DRS to Damian behind. The gap is over a second, and Jamie gets the DRS for himself and back up into P1. Lap 23 of 25, 2 to go. And a bit of a contact between Gwen and Jamie. Fortunately, both of them able to keep it pointed the right direction, but I'm sure that would have been a bit of a heart and mouth moment for Jamie. As we head through the S's, Jamie It looks like he's actually gaining a bit of time. That might just be dirty air. But Damian has kind of dropped away from this fight, running P3, and he's got plenty of a gap behind himself for P4, so that's a comfortable podium for him, but I'm sure he'd like to be fighting for P2 even. As he's just trying to get within 1 second of Gwen, and I think he just did so through the DRS detection point, but Gwen now going to be pushing for P1 once again. No DRS, of course, for Jamie up ahead. He's just going to get that much closer as we head through the left-right on the back straight. Gwen's just going to be creeping ever closer to Jamie. Don't think he's going to be close enough for a move into the final corner. He's going to wait for the pit straight. That's the name of the game here. See, what is it going to be for Gwen? Down the pit straight. Is he going to be looking for a move now, or is he going to save it for the final lap? Looks like he's narrowed the gap quite a bit, but not enough to make a move. And I just wonder if he's going to look for that move on the final corner of the final lap, if he can just keep himself within touching distance of Jamie, charge up the battery just a little bit. He's got the gap to Damian, doesn't need to worry about that right now. Just needs to play it smart, maybe wait for Jamie to make a mistake. Ooh, as he himself makes a bit of a mistake and gets a 3-second time penalty. You can see him shake the wheel in frustration. He was planning to play it safe and push for that P1 spot at the end of the race, as they're on lap 24 of 25 now, and must be super frustrated with that one. Just a little bit wide through the S's. The curb dragged him off the track and gets himself a 3-second time penalty for his troubles. It's not how you want to see it end, but unfortunately I don't think he's going to be pulling a 3-second gap to Jamie by the end of the race. So that'll be that done and dusted. I'm sure Damian's very happy to see that penalty pop up, because that's going to be him up into second place as long as Gwen doesn't make another 1.5 seconds. Must be super frustrating for him, but Gwen still, he's up quite a few places from his qualifying, able to take advantage of the chaos through Saudi Arabia, as we usually see. And now Jamie Ray leads us onto the final lap of the race. Is Gwen just going to have a bit of a lunge down the inside for the heck of it? No, he's not. Doesn't need to be taking any risks right now. Although the gap is growing between himself and Damian, so I wonder if he's actually going to be trying to pull a 3-second gap and keep that P2. I'm sure Damian's going to be pushing pretty hard as well. Gwen now just has to go into damage limitation. He's got to make another second at least in order to keep his position over Damian on penalties, but he's got some slipstream and some DRS. He might just be able to do it. Oh, here's the thing though, just getting word that Jamie did cross the white line on pit entry during the safety car. I did see that, didn't really know whether to make anything of it, but that could be a penalty going his way after the race, and if it is, it's going to be a 5-second penalty, and Gwen's definitely going to be finishing within 2 seconds unless anything horrible happens within the next final couple of corners. That could still be Gwen with a good position. Would that even be a win for Damian, I wonder, because Gwen has not been able to pull 3 seconds, and I'm sure Damian is within 5 to Jamie. Could be a post-race victory for Damian. It's all up in the air, but as it stands right now, Jamie Ray crossing the line to take the win in Saudi Arabia today in VDRL. And Damian crosses the line third. That was just barely a 3-second gap. I wonder if the tires are just falling off for Damian more than Gwen somehow. But still a podium for Damian. Still a podium for Ferrari. As side by side we go. Still more racing to go. Oh, they're fighting over the final points paying position. And Rajic and Luka just coming together out of the left-right in the back straight. And someone's got some major damage there, as both of them have pushed their battery to absolute depletion. But I think, yeah, that is going to be P10 for Rajic, at least getting a point out of that one. And Luka, last of the finishers, but unfortunately just out of the points. So, we'll get the official results, or the pre-stewarding results, I should say. Because I'm sure the stewards will have a lot to go through. As always, Jeddah's always a chaotic race, but here they are onto the podium. Jamie Ray taking the win once again over Gwen, who had a wonderful drive to get himself up into P2 despite his qualifying position and make that 3-second gap to Damian behind him. Damian still getting that podium for Ferrari after Kevin's unfortunate early exit. Still some wonderful fighting up at the front of the field indeed. It was a lot of fun to watch these three go at it. And here are your results. Jamie taking the win over Gwen, and Damian finishing third ahead of Try Again Later. Han taking P5 after he found himself facing the wrong direction. He had a good starting position, but still P5, some pretty good points for Williams there. Ozan P6 for AlphaTauri, finishing Hart P7 for Haas. Started 14th up into 7th, so that's a pretty good race for him as well. Sisord finishing 8th for McLaren, Squirter 9th, Rajic in 10th. That is the last of the points-paying positions. Luca, the last of the finishers. And then it's DNF all the way down. Frietzaus, Tommy, not a finisher in Red Bull today. As well as Lixchamp, Toro, Fubian, and the first DNF of the day, Kevin Van Dyke. Still going to be leading the Drivers' Championship, I'm pretty sure, because it was Jix who was behind him, but not what he would have wanted to see. So that'll do it for us today in VDRL. Thank you so much for tuning in. We've got another race coming up on Sunday, and then we will be back at it same time, same channel on next week, Friday. So hope to see you then. It's going to be a lot of fun. We will see you all next time. Thank you.